Can you guess where we are? I'll give you a clue. Home of the barefoot white girl playing ukulele in the park. We're in Portland.
I love when you say that.
Yeah, man, this place is I think this is Mark's first time here, and Mark digs it. But I'm telling you, this city has an Andy Mark vibe to it. It's very white, and not that I'm saying you're very white.
I got what you're saying though.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just there's a put it like this: I couldn't find no Timberlands. I can't get Timberlands,
and we looked.
Spears and Steinberg. You know what the it is? Aries and Andy, Chew and the Jerk. You know it's time to get this work. The real raw, gutter, uncut, cold. No political corrections. Always sleep. Being awoke. We discuss politics and jokes. Cry, we lit. There's levels to this shit. Before you was on your mama. Aries Spears don't give a fuck. We talk about race a lot, racism. Much love to my loyal bag holders, rollers, loaders. We got them in the folders. The whole world on our shoulders. Spears and Steinberg. Yeah.
The closest spot, and when I sent the post that I sent out on Instagram, a brother hit me and said, "Yo, man, you gotta go to Beaverton." That's 30 minutes from here.
So it might be even a little further with traffic and everything.
Yeah, this is definitely a spot that there's black people here, but this is, you know what I mean? This ain't no fried chicken with hot sauce here.
I asked on Friday night, early show, I think it was. There was it was white. I mean, the room was white.
I mean,
and I knew there was some black folks in the room because I saw people. And I said, so I said, obviously, they laughed a little bit. And I'm like, black folks, can you make some noise just so I know you're in here?
Yeah.
It was the quietest.
Yeah, man.
It was like, yeah.
Portland's a cool place to visit, but I damn sure couldn't live here.
I like Portland. It's just different. But I got to say this, and I don't know if you agree. I know Mark's hasn't been here with us before. Have you ever been here, though, before, Mark?
Yeah, one time.
But it's the improvement from the last time we were here, from like how downtown was. Shops are open. It's a little bit nicer. Listen, I'm not knocking homeless people, but it was a little overly aggressive, and it's calmed down. It feels better. It feels safer. I really like the direction Portland is in right now.
Yeah,
and it was really nice. The crowds were great. A lot of white guilt though in those crowds, but other than that, the crowds are really great.
Just give y'all the heads up. So the meat and potatoes of the conversation today is about this documentary that I've seen 1,000 times, and I wanted Andy to watch it because it's not just about boxing. It's about the 80s. It's about boxing. It's about politics. It's about race. It's called, and I messed up the title because I told you it was called The Four Kings.
It is what it's called.
Is it? Or is it just called The Kings? I think it's called The Kings.
Oh, yeah, The Kings.
Yeah, it's called The Kings. And it originally aired on Showtime, but now it's available on Amazon Prime. And it's about what they call the renaissance of boxing in the 80s because of the four dudes, Thomas the Hitman Hearns, Roberto Duran, Sugar Ray Leonard, and Marvelous Marvin Hagler. So, again, obviously to the dudes that listen to this podcast, especially if you are a fan of boxing, it's a great watch. You're going to love it. But what I like about this is, again, it's even if you're not a
it's Mark shit.
Mark, you got to move your mic. Even if you're not a boxing person, again, it's not just about boxing. So if you like politics and the Reagan and that era and Reaganomics and talking about, again, race and a bunch of things, it's a good watch. But there is some appetizer conversation that we have to get into. And it's funny because Andy and I, what was it, Thursday? When we were going to the show, we were talking about, he said, I had the flight from hell. And I said, well, I did too. And then when I told him why, he said, well, then you win between the two of us. So do you want to tell yours first, or you want me to tell mine?
I'll tell. I think yours is worse. So
yeah.
So I'll go
you
first.
Go first.
I thought I won.
Right.
But I'll tell you why you won after you do yours.
Right.
I got on a flight, and before we were getting on, I don't know. Do you don't do this because you get on right away and you're in first class, so it's minimal. The amount of problems you're probably going to get is less than when you're flying coach. So I scan the area to look for the problems because I want to know if I'm sitting next to one of the problems before I get on the flight.
I definitely sat next to a problem.
But I looked around and I saw the problem and they were right in front of me and as we were boarding and they had it was a couple, a younger couple with 2 kids, and the little push thing, whatever, I forgot what those things are called, the stroller. And so the lady yells out, "Did you get that tagged?" before she's coming up. And the lady goes, "What? Huh?" And they didn't seem to have any idea how to fly. It's not a problem. You don't fly much. Okay, I understand. So they just had me come up, and I went onto the plane, and then they had a tag in the stroller. But these kids that they had were just, every time the kids wanted something, this is before we got on the plane, they would just scream. They wouldn't ask for it. They just scream. Yeah. And then the parent would, give them whatever the scream meant. And they could talk. I heard the kids talking. So it wasn't like we had just, kids that couldn't speak and that's the only way they communicated. So then they get on the plane and I go to get my seat and I think, okay. And I see them, and, I'm just assuming that they're going to keep walking back. And they didn't. They sat right behind me.
Uh-oh. And
they're the 2 parents. And these kids are older. They're not babies. They're older. Like they can walk. They're taller.
8, 9, 10?
Not that old. I'd say probably about maybe like 3, maybe 4, and 6. And I didn't really look, but I think both of them had a kid on their lap. They didn't get them a seat. The kids were just sitting there. I know the one girl was because she was all over the place.
Right.
And they were, but they didn't have a seat, and so they're sitting on the lap, and they're sitting behind me, and so that kid just is kicking my chair before we even get started. And I'm like, listen, man, it's going to calm down. It's a 6 a.m. flight, by the way. So I'm thinking, most times you get on a 6 a.m. flight, people just leave the shades closed, and we just kind of slowly get our day started, but we kind of like quiet on the plane. Nope. Screaming, yelling, the kids jumping off and down, kept kicking the chair. Then I think the kids used to getting it, so it started sticking its hand through the chair and hitting me. And the parents aren't saying anything. They're not saying like, no, we don't do that. Don't do that. No, just if the mom grabbed the kid's arm, the kid would scream. And if the kid wanted milk or anything to drink, it screamed. It just would scream. It would never ask, and they never said anything like they weren't raising these kids. Kids were just they were just beasts, man. And so that was the whole 6 hours. Flying out here, I think it's 5 hours and 50-something minutes.
Yeah, like 5:50. Yeah.
And the whole plane, the whole ride, kicking, screaming. No,
you never
seat.
said nothing.
The flight attendants came over and said a few things. Oh, because they also had an iPad to try to keep the kid quiet, but they didn't have headphones for the kid, so the iPad was just real loud. And I was finally going to be done because I couldn't. And then they said you got to turn that down. No, they didn't say anything. No one said anything. They would just look at the kid. And I wasn't mad at the kids. I was mad at the parents for not being parents. And I know it takes a village to raise your kids, but when we're in a plane, some of us villagers are on fucking vacation. So shut your fucking kids up.
But at no point did you sternly turn around and say, "Hey, can you?"
No, I turned around, and when the kid was touching me, I go, "That's really not cool." Is what I said. That's not really.
The parent heard you say that?
Yeah, I looked at the parent and I said, "That's not really."
And then
cool.
what'd they do?
Nothing. They were completely inept of raising these kids. If there's people that should not have kids, these 2 should not have kids. They just shouldn't have had kids. They weren't going to raise them. I really believe these kids were raising them.
Here's mine.
You didn't tell them that you were trying to read a comic book?
I wasn't trying to read a comic book. I was trying to sleep. There was a good move. You tried to get in. You tried to get something in.
Yeah. So I board my. So first, I'm late getting to the on the plane because it was just cutting close to time, and I check in with the ticket agent. I go, "How long before y'all close the doors?" They said 15 minutes prior to departure, and there was a Wolfgang Pucks literally next to the gate. So I'm like, "How long it take to make a pizza, dude?" He's like, "About 15 minutes." So long story short, it was tight, but I squeezed by, which is to say, like you said, when you're in first class, you board first. So, but I'm boarding like dead last. So everybody that's in first class has already got their seat. So there's this dude, you know, who's going to be sitting next to me in his seat, and like maybe mid-50s, closer to late 50s. He's got on 2 pairs of glasses, one on his reading glasses on his face and another pair on his head, but he's got both glasses on his face. So I go, yo, my man, I'm right there. And he just scooches back.
So you in the window.
I'm in the window. He just scooches back. I said, nah, man, you got to get up. I ain't giving you no lap dance. I ain't straddling you. So he got a little bit of an attitude, and he got up like that. So I sit down, and let me tell you something, man. This body odor was so goddamn strong. And I just went, you can afford first class, but you can't afford soap. I mean, Andy, it was strong. So that's red flag number 1.
So what was his ethnicity?
White.
He was white.
Yeah. So then we take off, and I guess he was trying to gain access to the internet on the plane, and it wasn't working. All of a sudden, this starts throwing temper tantrums. He had his laptop open like this, but he also was trying to get it on his phone. So at one point, he starts hitting the buttons on his laptop aggressively, like this, one finger apiece. He's making these faces. And I'm looking, and the couple sitting over on the other side are looking. And at one point, he couldn't get it to work. So then he stopped with the laptop, and he grabs the phone, and he's literally doing this. And when that doesn't work, he slams the phone into the laptop, and he takes the lid and he shuts it, and he goes. Now the people sitting over here, we're doing this. What the is up? Yeah. The people, and then what was killing me is he did that, and when it was clear it wasn't going to work, he'd wait 3 minutes and try it again. And when it didn't work, he'd do all the same things again. But only this time, instead of one finger, he's Beethovening. He's Beethovening his laptop, and it's shaking, it's making noise. And when that didn't work, he does the double fingers to the laptop. He goes. So I'm really like, yo. So then another 5 minutes goes by. He's rocking his chair and he's doing this. Okay. So he tries a third time. Same thing. So he folds the laptop up, and you know how they got the flap in the seat in front of you, so you put your belongings in there. He opens it. He throws the thing in the flap. He hits the chair. The person over is like, "Yo, you good?" He's not saying nothing. He's grunting. So finally, about a fourth time, I say to him, I go, "Yo, my guy, it's the internet at 35,000 feet. It might not work. This happens." You know what I'm saying? You're not at home with a router where you got a good connect. You're 35,000 feet in the air on the internet. It go in and out. I know, but Andy, I don't know what the signs are for a serial killer, but I'm convinced these are it. You're a grown-ass man in your mid-50s, and you're throwing a full-on temper tantrum because the internet's not working.
Yeah.
And you stink.
The stinking part is the reason why you win, because you were assaulted by 2 of your senses, your nose and your ears.
And my fear.
I was only assaulted by my ears.
Right.
So I'll give you that. But you were only on a flight for 2 hours. So it's still close.
And at one point, you know, he had the flight attendant come over to try to help him with the internet. And she had to be the sweetest chick in the world, because she would lean all into his space to try to help him with the laptop.
Into his odorous space?
Into his odorous space. But then I knew she knew, because when the flight was over, as we're getting up, she looked at me, and we locked eyes, and she just starts laughing. And we knew what we were laughing at. Oh my God, dude.
I'm telling you, you can. I hate to be mean to people, but you can have people removed who stink.
No, I saw on the news. I saw a thing where they had a Jewish family, and I mean this was Juju. Had the Hasidic curls, and he had the yarmulke on, and it was him, his wife, and their kid. And they said so many passengers were complaining that they kicked them off. And then when they interviewed them, they were like, we didn't think we smell bad, we're fine, and we don't understand why. So I never knew that, but now that I know, I'm gonna have my removed.
Yeah, you can't stink. I mean, they were gonna kick. This is a long time ago, but. Britney Spears was wearing Uggs and she no socks, and she took her shoes off and it stunk up the whole first class.
Really?
Yeah,
I never heard that.
And they wanted to kick her off the plane.
That's them right there.
They made her.
No, that's not them. Oh, is that them? Well, I think. Yeah, that is them.
Stinky.
Yeah.
They don't look that or
yeah. It's
well, maybe that's not them.
Yeah, he doesn't have he. Okay, here's the thing though. You can't stink. You cannot offend other people's nostrils. And this is why I got to say this, man. This white guilt thing.
Yeah.
This is why I love especially black women. I was on a flight and I think I said this on the podcast. An older man had an accident in his pants, and they needed to change him. Mm. The son was trying just to get him back on the plane because he didn't want to miss the flight, and he would have missed the flight. And he smelled. Now, this poor older gentleman was just trying to get on the plane, and he was an older, and he was a black gentleman, and his son is obviously his son was black dude, and so no one wants to say anything because we're in the this is when a lot of shit was going on, and no white people, none of the people wanted to say, hey, this is not proper, and this man deserves to be cleaned up before you put him on the flight, and. You know, no one wants to say it because they're trying to stay out of that business. You know, they're freaking out. And he came walking by me, and I go, "Oh my God!" I go, we have to say something." And there was a black lady sitting next to me, and she goes, "Yeah." She goes, "I'm a caretaker, and this does not fly." And she got up. I didn't get fly with anybody else. She went over. She said, "This is not happening." She just was. "This is not happening. This is improper." And she goes, "And it's not right to your." And she said to the guy, "She goes, this is not right to your father." And she went and got the flight attendant and said, "This can't come on. This is unhealthy, unsafe. It's a biohazard. You can't be on the plane." Yeah. And the lady goes, "They just didn't know what to do because they didn't want to." It was an all white.
How are you not aware of your body not smelling right?
Because everybody, if the whole house smells, the whole house smells. That's the scent that you're used to. That's why when you take a shit, it doesn't bother you.
But have you ever gone where you may not have taken a shower in quite some time and you can smell must under your arms?
Yeah, because when your arms are down, you might lift up your arm and you go, and that air hits it and it blows up to your nose and you go, "Oh my God." But if your whole body has that scent because you haven't been.
That's insane.
And the whole family has a scent. And your house has the scent.
But you know when something smells good, you go, "Man, that smells good."
Yeah, but
you don't know when it smells bad.
No, you lose touch with your smell because it's like it becomes the normal smell. I'm serious. Like when you take a your doesn't smell bad because you're in the middle of it. There's a point where maybe it smells bad when you first take a but then you sit there for a few minutes and you're like, "Oh."
There's some people who like that though. They like to bask in the odor of their own odorous.
Yeah, but it becomes a normal smell. I'm not saying that, most people will flush the toilet. You're right. Some people will just sit there. But I mean, it doesn't. But the room still smells even after you flush the toilet. But I'm saying after a minute, it doesn't smell as bad because you get used to that smell. They don't smell themselves.
Let's jump on to something else.
Stinkers.
So obviously, one of the hottest things all over the internet right now is the dude that got busted at the Coldplay concert with his mistress or the woman that he works with. And we kind of talked about this a little bit. And I asked Andy a question that I wish I would have saved until the pod because it was such a great moment because it was spontaneous and, the answers were fresh and not rehearsed or now we got to repeat them. But I want to ask this question to you guys. I want to ask all the men and write into me and tell me what you would do, because I came up with a little scenario. So let's say, fellas, you was that dude. You're the billionaire CEO. You get busted at the Coldplay concert with your side piece. Your wife obviously knows. The internet knows. The world knows. If your wife came to you and said, I'm going to give you a choice. Either I'm going to divorce you, leave you, take everything you have. You'll never see the kid. Take the kids. Take all your money. Or I'm not going to divorce you. I'm going to stay with you. I'm going to forgive you. But you have to watch me f another man in front of you. Fellas, what would you do? Divorce or have her f dude in front of you?
You know what I like about that you asked me this question, though?
Yeah.
Because you learned something about me at that moment. And what you learned is it doesn't make a difference if I'm on the podcast or in real life. I'm going to ask the question. I didn't give you the right. You got mad at me because I was like,
Right.
well, I go, it depends. And you're like, it doesn't depend. No, I go, it depends. And my answer was, do I really love her? Because I'm cheating. So do I love her? Am I cheating because I wanted to cheat? I was attracted to this woman and I was cheating, but I love my wife? Or do I really not give a about my wife?
Right.
Because that, I think, makes that makes a whole different scenario. But I like that you heard me.
And I said to you, hey, man, don't Jew this up. Just answer the question.
But I love the fact that you know that is me at all times. I'm always looking at the scenario. It's not a yes or no answer. I can't answer questions that way. I need all the answers. I need all the questions. But I think that guy was just, they were so, if they would have just sat there and they would have just
they panicked.
Yeah, that panic sold them out.
Yeah.
And that's what got the attention.
Listen, I told you yesterday, every time I've gotten in trouble with my girl for doing something I shouldn't have done, I would say 9 times out of 10 it's because I panicked. Because when you like, oh, trouble, you so frantic to try to figure out a way out of it that you sell yourself out.
Yeah.
And if you just be cool and just don't panic, you might get away with some. Now, I'm not condoning behavior. I'm just saying a lot of people get caught because they panic. And the way they panicked, it was like, oh, what's going on here?
Like, she could have just stayed leaning up against him, and they would have said, yeah, we're at the concert, we're talking.
But even if they didn't panic and they just seemed normal,
they would have never got caught.
Right. It would have never been a big deal.
Yeah. But I'm saying, even if that made it on, you would just go.
Well, that's kind of hard to explain the way out of that.
Yeah, you could still do it though.
The way they were embraced.
If you didn't panic, you could just say, "Oh yeah, I just gave her. Yeah, she said something. I said,
she slipped and I caught the.
Yeah,
and it looked like it.
Yeah.
Right.
But you could say that. You can't say it after you throw her off there.
Right.
You always have an amount of plausible deniability. But once you throw her,
and then you go looking for cover.
Then you're done.
Yeah. Between her facial expression of, oh, my God, and him looking for cover, yeah.
But see, this is
And that one chick laughing because she knew all about it.
Well, yeah, but this is the hypocrisy of this whole thing. It's bad that he's cheating. Without a doubt, he's cheating. And people are going to be mad at me for what I'm about to say, but I don't give a He cheated. He's out there. He's doing wrong. She's also doing wrong because she knows that he's married. I don't know what her situation was. But she is married, yeah. So she's cheating too. But here's the worst part about it. Damn. So that's equal. They're both cheating on their partners. She's a human resource officer for the company, and they're cheating with... That's her job, is not to do like that. That's her whole job. She's supposed to lead by example. And he should resign, not because he was cheating or having an affair, but because of who he was having the affair with. That shows the whole company from the top to the bottom is defunct. You can't have your human resource, the CEO,
and listen,
or the CFO, whatever he was.
You're right. Cheating is a bad thing and shouldn't be done. But I was reading some of the comments, and women kill me because they showed a picture of his real wife, who's apparently hot, and the comments, women were like, "Damn." He had a hot wife and he cheated with her. You don't cheat down. You cheat up. You upgrade. Ladies, you don't get how cheating works. Men don't give a about the not being hot. His that he don't care about, that he's just trying to bang. Women cheat up. Men don't give a We don't. You don't have to be hotter than my wife. You could look like a Scud missile. It's
well, and I'm not trying to justify men's actions, but there's things that you can do to a woman that's not your wife that you don't do to your wife.
You could f from behind and then dunk her head in the toilet.
You can do different. It can't. You got it.
But even if you could do it with your wife, again, if it's a side piece you just trying to and don't mean nothing to you,
yeah.
Men ain't going, well, he's not hotter than my wife, so that's the reason. It's not about, it ain't about that.
Well, this is
Glenn Close wasn't hotter than Michael Douglas's wife in Fatal Attraction.
No, but Glenn Close has never been that hot as she was in that movie.
There you go.
But I think that people don't understand it's. And this is a horrible thing how I'm going to put this, but people try to understand serial killers or why people do horrible things, and some people just do horrible things. It's the same way with sex and men. We just do sex. There is no reason for it.
Right.
Women do have a reason for why they cheat: revenge, upward mobility.
Not being happy at home, not getting what she wants at home.
Guys could be happy at home, and it's that hunting factor.
It's a sport, man. It's a sport. We got to take down that buck. We got to kill that elk. You know what I mean?
I'm not justifying it.
I'm not either.
I'm just saying that it's part of the makeup. We have to fight that to be a better person.
Amen. Dude, we Andy here in Portland, and he was excited about it because apparently one of the managers that's been driving us back and forth from the club said that Portland is one of the places that are known for comic book shops. So after we ate lunch yesterday, me and Mark with Andy to the Excalibur comic book store, and I got to tell you, man, as a dude. And this is where I get a little disappointed in myself. Like before I came out to Portland, I did Byron Scott's podcast. Byron Scott, championship player for the former championship player for the Los Angeles Lakers.
ASU alumni.
Yeah.
Go Sun Devils.
Yeah, I did his podcast called Fast Break with Byron Scott. And he's a big cigar fan. And I told him, I was like, he goes, you smoke cigars? I go, dude, it's something macho manly about the idea of a good brandy and smoking a cigar. I tried it. I just don't get it. And so like with the comic book thing, I walk into the store, you see the superheroes, all the bright colors, the cool comic book covers. I'm disappointed in me as a dude because something in me goes, why aren't you into this? This seems like such a cool thing as a guy to be into, but I'm just not. And I'm looking at all these comic book covers, and again, the colors pop, the artwork, and I'm going, yo, this is some fly. I'm not into it. And then at one point I said to Andy, I don't understand how Hollywood would ever run out of ideas for superhero movies with all of this shit. And there was this one comic, I wrote the name down, Rufus. Rufus Carl is one bad hombre. And I was looking at this going, this looks like it would make a dope-ass, badass movie. Why hasn't this been made? Amongst 1,000 of other maybe comic books, unless you're a comic book novice, which I'm not, you've never heard of. But they keep remaking the same with the same characters over and over. And here's a library, just a plethora of what could be badass movies.
Dude, there's a lot of good movie storylines in comic books. It's just what they're gonna pick to make. And when they do a comic book, sometimes they don't get it right, and they go back and they try to do it again instead of just moving on and finding another storyline to grab. And that's what I think they're trying to do now, is find better storylines. But I tried to get you into comic books. I sent you some comic books called The Bitter Root, which is a black comic, black artists, black storylines, black writers. And I tried to get you that way. You didn't go for it. Bitter Root is great. They have great storylines. You looked at some of the artwork and you looked at the posters and you go, man, this is great. And it was a Jack Kirby. It was an old Jack Kirby poster. And you have to, but see, you don't want to, you got to put your toe in the water.
Well, like the lady said, and she was very sweet, the lady that worked there, she goes, and I could tell she was trying to like coach me into, well, what do you like? Are you in the graphic novels? Blah, blah, blah. And I kept telling her, you know what? I'm a watcher. I'm more of a watcher. to sit there and crack open a comic book and lick my finger and turn the page and read from left to right, top to bottom. Show me the movie.
But see, I want to tell you too that what you experience at Excalibur in Portland is a different. It's an old school comic shop. I mean, I loved it when I walked in because you could smell the comics.
And I loved everything about that.
Yeah.
But I just was like,
a lot of places now just have a few comics and a lot of games. There's a lot of D&D stuff going on. There's a lot of other like all the card games that are out. This one was good, man. I really enjoyed that comic book shop. If you're ever in Portland, check out Excalibur Comics. Fantastic store. But I just got a couple things. I'm broke. I spent all my comic book money, and I'm on this auction that I'm doing tonight, and I don't have any money. I seriously diving in. I dove in too aggressively. I should have backed up a little bit and been a little bit more focused. I kind of hit a few comics that I really wanted to get into, and it was just too expensive. But I'm in now, and I'm going to keep going, and I'm having a good time with it. But I just have to slow. I had to slow down.
Like Byron Scott says to me, he goes, "Dude, where do you live?" And I told him, he goes, "Dude, I'm not far from you." He goes, "Yeah, man. When I like to chill out some days, you know, I'll go in my in the back, and I got this little area near the pool, and I'll just sit out there when the sun sets, and I'll have my brandy and smoke a cigar." He said, "You should come to the house and kick it." And I'm like, "Do you know how dope that sounds?" But I don't drink brown liquor, so my only thing would be the brandy, but I don't drink brown liquor.
I thought he drank bourbon.
Who? Byron Scott?
Yeah.
Whatever it is, bourbon, brandy.
Yeah. Well, brandy works too.
Yeah, but he might have said bourbon. But you know, the idea of two dudes with a nice bourbon and a cigar sounds awesome. But I don't do either one.
But you can still go.
Let me ask you a question. I mean, just it all sounds nice. When was the last time you ever sat by a pool and just had a conversation as the sun comes down and just chilled out and enjoyed life for a second?
I haven't.
Okay, you don't do any of that, so none of it fits in your scenario. You don't. I'm not saying this in a negative way. There's a lot of people who don't, but you don't really take the time just to appreciate the moment. You are aggressively looking for the next better moment.
Okay, fair enough.
And that's the thing, though. And if you haven't got to the place, and I mean this in a nice way, you have an expectation of a place that you want to get to, and until you get to that, you're probably not going to slow down and take a look and appreciate the moment until you get to that moment, because you want certain things and you haven't got them. And I watch you. There's moments I've seen moments since I've been on the road with you where you hit an expectation, and I've seen you just go holy. Like, this was awesome. But then you go, that lasts for about that maybe that evening. And then the next day you're like, next moment, okay, check that one off. I have a list that I'm trying to get through. Right. When you get through your list, you're going to slow down. You're going to look at and you go, man, that was a lot of work, and I really appreciate this. Take a moment. Go see Brian Scott. Go hang out at his house. Go look at that and see if you find that moment. You think that he accomplished his goals. He's retired. He has time to look at that mountain.
Right.
But look at the mountain. It's not a bad thing to do. You should appreciate. You should take moments every now and then and appreciate everything that you accomplished. And I guarantee you, I know you. You never do that.
That was a great pep talk. Okay. Ding, ding. On this first episode of The Kings, they point out how obviously they almost did it by era, where it was like Joe Louis was the guy at whatever time period that was, and then after that Muhammad Ali, and then after him, and I like how they described it as these were the kids of Muhammad Ali.
Yeah,
because obviously Ali was such an era.
They did give a little nod to Joe Johnson at the beginning, though, too.
No, not Joe Johnson. Joe Louis.
Yeah, but they also gave a little nod to Joe Johnson because he was the
Jack Johnson.
Jack Johnson.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah, because it was like, okay, so Jack came first, then Joe, then Ali, and then these guys.
Yeah.
But what really separates this is prior to these guys, boxing was only ever about the heavyweight division. That it was only there was no one paid attention to anything else, and these guys ushered in the era of welterweights and middleweight.
Well, and also there was American dominance in boxing, and now
Yes.
it had slipped away. And Muhammad Ali was the only belt holder at that time,
Right.
And so that was the other part of it.
Well, they always used to say that at one point, the World Heavyweight Championship was the most coveted prize in sports. It meant more than football, baseball, basketball. It was the and it hasn't been that. I don't think it's been that since probably the Tyson, Evander Holyfield, Lennox era. But yeah, and I'm saying all that to say, listen, man, Sugar Ray Leonard was Oscar De La Hoya before Oscar.
Yep.
He like Ali, he was pretty. He got all the attention, so much so that it created envy between the other three kings. Lord knows Duran said so many times about how being a Panamanian, how America is the top dog and Americans are arrogant and everybody praises America. So his envy was from that standpoint. But then Hagler and Hearns felt like, especially Hagler, that they never got the just due that they should have got. I think they said at one point when Sugar Ray fought Wilfred Benitez, his pay was $1 million. On the undercard of that fight was Hagler, who made $40,000.
Yeah.
So it was like, damn.
And that was a big payday for him.
Yeah, but in comparison to Sugar Ray,
yeah.
Yeah.
And it was, but also about having the pedigree of going to the Olympics where Hagler couldn't because he had to make money. I do want to say before we go further though, there is one little thing that I don't have a problem with, but they didn't give credit to that heavyweight era of Muhammad Ali with Foreman and Frazier.
No, they didn't.
They almost like they just said Ali and they made it just Ali. And that heavyweight division, because they were all such great boxers, elevated at that time period.
I honestly think that was the golden era of heavyweights.
Yeah.
With those guys. Because, you throw in Ken Norton, George Foreman, Joe
I forgot
Frazier.
Norton, yeah. So there was four kings there.
Yeah.
But
I think Ali was such a presence.
He was a presence, but any one of those guys, they all beat each other. They beat the out of each other. So it was very similar. And I know that they did the political connection, but I think that they could have done a little bit of nod to what came before it, which was these four guys. And they had, this is the new era of boxing. So that I was
but again, because it always was about the heavyweight division. It's like, that's just another Tuesday. Whereas with this, it was the beginning of something that was as big as the heavyweights that had never been on that stage before.
But not to give any credit to the other guys.
No, I know what you mean.
Yeah, it felt that was all on Muhammad Ali.
But this is why I'm saying, like Muhammad Ali, Sugar Ray was box office.
Yep.
He was good looking. He was marketable. Like, there was a moment where the guy says, one of the narrators say, I think it might be Teddy Atlas, where he goes, with Marvin Hagler, with promoters, it would be like, yeah, you can fight. What else you got?
Yeah.
And Hagler was just a fighter. Sugar Ray was all those things. There was one thing that somebody said that bothered me. Where is it? Oh yeah, when a guy goes, one thing about, and this is where I go, white people, y'all think y'all slick with your words, because I didn't understand why they had to point this out this way. They go, when they said Ray was the only one who could speak to, and these are the two words that pissed me off, or maybe really the one word. He was the only guy that could speak to the educated masses. And I go, so, and this is where I go, white folks swear they slick. So basically they said Ray was the only one who could speak to white people, as though Hagler wasn't articulate. He just wasn't as popular. When you go, Ray's the only one that could speak to the educated, who are you talking about? The educated masses. Who are the educated masses? You mean white America?
I know what he was trying to say. He did say it did come off very racial. It did. But what he is saying, and I would say it differently, he was the only one who could speak to corporate America.
That's still white.
And I know that, but when you're trying to pitch, when you're trying to be a pitch man and you're trying to sell Dr. Pepper, when you're trying to sell those, you need someone who goes, the corporate America goes, that's my guy. That's my guy. Because they're the ones that are making those decisions on who they want to put their face on their product. And that was Sugar Ray. He was charming, the smile, he had the package. So, but when you say he was the only one who could talk to, making it sound more like articulate.
Let me be honest though. Okay, obviously Duran couldn't speak English, and to corporate white America, having an interpreter translate, as you just said, is not marketable. Now Tommy Hearns, he was a little bit more streetish to the point where he wasn't as eloquent with words as Sugar Ray. I thought Marvin could articulate just fine. He just didn't have personality.
Marvin did get it later.
Right.
Later.
Right.
But his popularity had to grow. Leonard had the popularity that came with the Olympics. And he had the smile.
And he had the looks. Right.
He had bottom line is, though, the looks are important. And he had the looks. He was, I don't know how to say this in any other way. He was charming. Like he
like
was,
Muhammad Ali.
Yeah, because he was boxing and he was pretty.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So, and that's what they wanted. And this is a big jump from, as they said in this, Muhammad Ali was selling roach spray.
Well, you mentioned that before, and I wanted to go back to that because, again, yeah, Ray and Ali, both pretty and charming. But they said also something else that white people often say, which translates to just shut up and dribble. They said, Ray, he just fought. In other words, he wasn't political. Ali was political. So that's why, as much as Ali should have endorsed 1,000 products, he only did Roach products.
Yeah,
Yeah, whereas Sugar Ray, 7-Up, this, that. But again, it just, sometimes white people with their wording, well, Ray, he just fought. He just did his job. He behaved, nigga. He behaved.
And still, it's changing a lot right now, and it has changed. But a lot of the pitchmen that did things for television commercials, they're just a face. As soon as you put your opinion, your personal opinion, you divide your audience. That's what corporate America didn't want. They just wanted a blanket face that everybody liked. As soon as you put your opinion out there. Now we all have opinions. We're all on social media. Everybody has an opinion. So corporate America is getting used to the fact that now the face comes with an opinion, and you have to be able to stand behind it.
I don't know, so I'm asking you, do you ever recall any white entertainers, sports figures being allowed to voice their opinion as well as be the face back in those times?
Well, I can give you a one that you can't. Okay, and it happened with I'm going to forget her name. Give me 1 second here. Was married to Ted Turner. Was an actress. Jane Fonda she spoke her opinion about the Vietnam War, and that there was a pullback, and there were people protesting her. So, and as far as white entertainers, that's one that I can remember that spoke her mind, and there was backlash from it. So, the corporate America always wanted their pitch people to be a blank canvas they didn't come with an opinion. And that was harder for Black America, because Black America had an opinion because they were getting mistreated, and to say that we're not getting treated the same way, and to be and for that to be relevant, and to be going through a civil rights movement, not to speak up would have been disingenuous. So, but that's not what corporate America is looking for, especially at that time. I'm not judging right or wrong on this one. I'm just saying that is the fact. Mm-hmm. And so you get caught up on it. Again, when we talk about Jane Fonda, Vietnam, and then you use when we talk about Ali and what he went through, she came out of it just fine. Ali was held back and things taken away from him. So who gets it worse?
Well, I mean, listen, we can't sugarcoat and act like a white woman doing her thing, voicing her opinion versus a black man versus voicing his, she's going to always have a little bit of an edge because she's white.
Yep.
But, Ali, take your pick. Vietnam, Muslims, race. He tripled down on
He did, but don't minimize what happened to her because she was outcast for a while. And you've said this. Though if you're white, you have a comeback in you.
Right.
That doesn't always happen for people in the black community.
You got the complexion for the protection for the collection.
So that granted, but don't minimize the fact that she was ostracized for giving her opinion. Corporate America doesn't want it. They don't need it. There's plenty of people out there with that were Hollywood faces that didn't come with any kind of baggage, and that's not what they want. They want, when you see 7-Up or Dr. Pepper or Coca-Cola, they just wanted you to see 7-Up, Dr. Pepper, or Coca-Cola. They didn't want you to come with anything else. And that's the issue. And at that time, it was easy to have people that way. Today is different, and corporate America has to define and defend its stance. So it can be different now, but it still doesn't always work out for everybody.
I know you usually have your finger on the pulse of ethnic flavors when it comes to the black community. But I'm gonna put you to the test. I'm gonna see if you remember this, or if you ever saw this movie. I know all the black people, especially the older you are gonna know this. At one point in time, there was a movie that starred Leon Isaac Kennedy, who favored Sugar Ray, called Penitentiary. Do you remember Penitentiary?
No.
They made 3 of them.
No, it sounds familiar, but I couldn't remember anything about it.
Okay, well, he did 2. He did the Penitentiary. He did, it was a series. He did 3 of those. But he did another movie. And this is where all the men my age, and especially my daddy's age, about to pull their out and start jacking off. He did a movie, dude, called Body and Soul, which at the time had a woman in it by the name of Jane Kennedy.
Oh, I know Jane Kennedy.
She was the Halle Berry of that time, dude. You know who she is?
Yeah.
Was that a bad dog?
Yeah, she was on regular television. She was on Good Morning America, or she was.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Jane Kennedy was a piece, my nigga.
There's no denying that.
Oh. But the movie he did, and I think in that movie he played a boxer too. In Penitentiary and Body and Soul, Leon Isaac Kennedy played a fighter. And I think I remember telling you this one time, because here was the scene that I remember. And again, remember I said my dad was up because he was greedy, because we had one house and one TV in the house. So whatever he watched, we watched. We were like dogs. Whatever he ate, we ate. And it didn't matter how up or inappropriate it was. Yes. Jane Kennedy. But there was a moment where in the Penitentiary movie, and remember, I'm like 8, and I'm seeing some to traumatize me. So there's a scene where Leon Isaac Kennedy goes to jail for the first time in Penitentiary 1. And there's an actor by the name of Baja DeJola. And I remember it was like the rape scene. And he's trying to coach my man into giving up the booty peacefully. So this dude, Baja, is, and this is the 70s, so it was greasy. So this nigga's doing barbell curls, and he's got nothing on but leopard Speedos. And what, rated R? No, 1981. So how old was I? 75. I was 6. And I remember in Body and Soul, there was a scene, and remember, I'm, young kid, so my get hard if the wind blows. There was a scene in there where she walks into the room and he's 2 at once. Titties out and everything. I'm seeing this at 6. But back to Penitentiary. So this Baja is doing barbell curls. He's totally greasy. Chest hair looked like taco meat. Speedos. And as he's curling the barbell, Isaac Kennedy is in the cell with him. So he's just talking to him like, how you doing, man? Yeah, what's going on, man? Good. So the thing that he tries to entice him with is gum. And he goes, "You want some bubble gum?" And dude is like, Isaac's starting to figure out what's happening. So Isaac say he don't want no bubble gum. So cut to after the bubble gum doesn't work, these two is wrestling in the cell. And Bacha, again, greasy leopard Speedos, and he's wrestling Isaac Kennedy to try to get the booty. And Isaac Kennedy beats the shit out of him. But that was penitentiary.
Did you notice Mark got up and left? I think he would go into the bathroom to go beat off.
I think so too.
He got so excited with the leopard Speedos.
And listen, Dewan Curse, I know you listening. I know you know. I know you know what I'm talking about. I'm telling you, I'm 50. My age and older. They remember this movie, man. Body and Soul and Penitentiary. Jane Kennedy, god damn. Back to Marvin Hagler a little bit. One of the things they said about Hagler, he was like, Hagler had three things working against him. He was black, he was good, and he was southpaw.
Yeah. The southpaw was a big deal.
Yeah, because, most fighters were right-handed fighters.
And throws your timing off.
Yeah, it throws your timing off. Matter of fact, Joe Frazier, I think, was a southpaw.
One of those three was a southpaw. I don't know which one.
When you say one of those three, what do you mean?
The three heavyweights at that time. The big heavyweights.
Joe Frazier was a southpaw.
Okay, I just said I know one of the three was one.
Oh, yeah. It was Joe Frazier.
Okay.
Because he was known for that left hook. Dude, let me tell you. And at first, I was getting confused by this. So Hagler is from Newark, right?
Yes.
Because he kept saying Massachusetts. Like his affiliation with Massachusetts. Mark, can you look up where Marvin Hagler is from? But I think because they kept, in the documentary, when they would talk about how rough their home life was, they kept pointing out Thomas Hitman was from Detroit.
Yeah.
And they kept bringing up Newark, New Jersey.
Where was Leonard from?
Massachusetts as well.
Okay.
Maryland. He was from Maryland. Is that Baltimore? I'm getting fucked up.
Baltimore.
That's Baltimore. Okay, so he's from Maryland. But I know the connection for Marvin Hagler in Massachusetts was I forget what the dudes are. His trainers. They were brothers, like the Pacelli brothers or something like that. But he trained out of Massachusetts.
Yeah, because it was he talks about when we first started, I was older and bigger than him. I had to take it easy on him. And
right, and eventually I had to take it easy on me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's from Newark.
Okay. Yeah, but I guess because of the two trainers who were from Massachusetts, and then when he became heavyweight, the city embraced him. They really embraced him. So that's why I kept thinking, hey, was he a Boston dude? But he's from Newark.
Yeah.
He definitely has some Boston connections.
Yeah.
Well, I said all that to say this, kid. We don't really like the niggas in Boston. But I got to tell you, if we had to adopt two, it would be Kevin Garnett, because the guy's wicked, kid. And Marvelous Marvin Hagler, he was to die for. Our favorites are the whites. Larry Bird, and of course, the best square jaw, Cliff Chen, Anglo-Saxon purebred white man that ever exists, Tom Brady. But if we had to get two, we'd like different strokes them. It was like Arnold and the brother Willis. That's Garnett and Marvelous Marvin Hagler.
Dude,
he's like a milk dud with strength. That bald head kid. I loved it. I loved the guy. It was a great time. Bobby Patterson, by the way.
Dude, I thought it was so disrespectful that Marvelous had to come up with his own Marvelous name.
Right.
The sports writers didn't even give him a name.
Again, dude, you've alluded to this at times when I'm feeling like, and this is why I kind of feel like I said to Byron Scott what I always say and what I used to say in my stand-up, which he loved when I said it. He thought it was hilarious. It was a great line. When I go, I got Michael Jordan dreams, but Dennis Rodman habits. I would love to be Sugar Ray, but I relate more to Marvin Hagler. And, when Hagler would feel like he was not appreciated, he didn't get what he wanted, it took him a long time to finally reach the stature of Sugar Ray. Once he hit, I looked at some of the things, like when they show him doing commercials, he's on SNL, he's on Johnny Carson. I guess because I don't walk in his shoes, I'm looking from where I'm looking going, dude, you seem like you got, once your hit, you was the dude. So why do you still feel that way? But you don't know until you walk in another man's shoes.
I think, though, as a human, put together human, whether everybody has dysfunction, but he was the most put together out of all four of them.
Yeah.
Hagler was, because he was the one who could walk away. I'm getting
And
way
did.
far, and I'm getting too far
Yeah,
ahead.
he eventually retired and moved to Italy.
Yeah, but he also, and I think that might be, and I don't want to give away too much because I'd like to. I know we have. I'm jumping way ahead, but the fact that everybody was, they needed the
Spotlight.
and they needed the fans. They needed the acceptance.
They need the rush.
And because he was never granted that, I think he accepted that, and he made his life to be his successes, not outwardly. I don't need the press. I don't need the people. Because
But he wanted it.
He wanted it, but he didn't get it. And I think in a way that benefited him because everybody else fought for too long because it became a part of what they needed all the time. They fought for too long. They missed opportunities in life. They ruined relationships in life because that's what they were looking for. It's a little different with Tommy Hearns because his is different.
Well, before you go there, I want to piggyback on something you just said. And what was great was there was that one moment where for so long, Hagler was like, I need, and I love when they said this. They go, I think Teddy Atlas said, he goes, in boxing, everybody needs that good dance partner. You need that rivalry. And I forget who the Fred Astaire, I forget the woman's
Ginger
name.
Rogers.
He, as good as beautiful as Fred Astaire was in terms of his art form and dancing, it was Ginger Rogers who complimented him. They complimented each other. Ali had it with Frazier. So for the longest time, Hagler was trying to pursue that with Ray Leonard. Ray Leonard was the golden boy. He was the guy. In order for him to get the recognition from the boxing community that he was great, he needed Ray. And Ray, some people would say was either scared of him or was ducking him. Of course, it was the detached retina, so he retired a couple times. And then, of course, he did the big announcement, a fight with this great man, this great champion, would be huge, but it'll never happen. And then finally, after all this, it happens. And then what happens? A lot of people felt like Hagler won that fight, but they gave it to Leonard. And I love this moment before I get to the moment I'm really talking about, because once again, it was almost like this is Hagler's reality. He just can't get what he's owed. And there was a moment where Larry Merchant is talking to Hagler, and Hagler's going, man, this is, man, it ain't fair. I won this fight. He was devastated. And as he's walking away, Sugar Ray's patting his back, and he's going, Marvin, we're still friends. And Marvin ain't trying to hear none of it. Marvin's going, nah, man, be fair. I won the fight. So cut to, they do this celebration of great champions, and Hagler's there in the tux and along with everybody else. And Ray says to Bob Arum, yo, go tell Hagler I'm ready for Hagler Ray 2. Let's do a sequel.
We can make so much money.
And Hagler goes, tell Ray to get a life. And everything you just said, he just, he didn't need to do it again.
He found personal acceptance within himself. He knew he won the fight. He knew that he was never going to get the general public to go along with him the same way that they went around with Leonard because he wasn't flashy. He was just a great boxer.
Right.
And the resolve within himself was to take care of himself, not to let outside influences try to make up for the things that I'm deficient in. He made them up in himself. It's an amazing. I feel like I wish he was around to talk today because I think his story is more unique than the other three because of how he took on life in a different way. They all took it. All of them had to fight for their position. He took on life though in a different way. When he still had fights left in him, and he was like, I did what I needed to do. I proved myself. It was within him, and it's I think that there's a lot to learn in people when you see someone who has self-acceptance, because self-acceptance is the one thing that we always look for acceptance outside of ourselves. Whether, especially like we're in entertainment, the audience giving us that acceptance, the people telling you that you're great, looking for other comics to validate you, looking for this validation throughout everything that we do. He validated himself, and that is the hardest thing in the world to do.
Yes, but I guess until I'm in a place in my life where I can go, you know what, like you said, take the deep breath, enjoy the moment. I'm not in the pursuit of what I want or what I think I want so badly, and I'm finally at peace with, you know what, if this is what it is, this is what it is. But until I get to that place, I can't help but think that even with everything you just said, there isn't a piece of you somewhere in a deep, dark corner that still feels like, yeah, I'm gonna do it on my terms, but I really didn't do it the way I should have gotten it. I'm still not satisfied, if you know what I'm saying. Like, I'm making peace with what it is, but I'm still slightly bothered that it just didn't happen the way I thought it should have happened.
Yeah, but it's kind of like, I know this sounds ridiculous.
I just think that when you go, I'm retiring and I'm moving to Italy, are you just moving to Italy to get away from America because you're so fed up with the fact that it didn't happen for you in your hometown, in your birthplace like it should have?
I think maybe you move away because you go, this place, I proved that I was a great boxer. I fought the best fight. I beat the best fighter, and I still didn't get it. I'm going to move over here because I'm going to restart my life in a way for myself. Because everything I've done over here, I've proven everything that I needed to myself. I know I won that fight. I know I'm a great boxer. I know what my potential is. I have other things that I've had endorsements. I've had things that nobody else got. I'm going to restart over here because I don't need to be around this, because this only is going to pull me into my... It's going to play off my, like you just said, my ego, the things I need from that industry to feel better. I'm going to move over here. I'm going to take on a different life. He was a great businessman. He did great for himself.
Yeah.
So he did that because he didn't buy into what he didn't let his ego define him. Mm-hmm. I think that there's people like that should be not only praised, but they should be studied, because I think most of us continue to fight a fight that's not necessary.
Hear, hear.
No, don't. But I really mean this.
I'm one of them people.
Well, do it. As a comedian, and this is a very small part of life for me, but it is a part of me. Like I got mad on Friday early show, man, because I went out there and I hit them with jokes that I know work, that they work everywhere else. And I honestly was pissed. And you even said, but I dug the hole even deeper because I let him know that I thought they were horrible human beings. And it's because I didn't get what I thought I deserved. But like, that's the point. Like, if you're truly great, if I was really great, like, do you think that Chappelle would ever let the audience not getting into him
with him
even ruffle a feather? Maybe. I don't care who you are. It's still like, I'm hitting these with solid punches and they're not giving me anything. But do you think that he would ever go?
No,
never. Because he's defined what his greatness is.
But we've talked about that when we go, can you sit in the silence? If it's not working for you, or you gonna let that with you? Most comics, it with them.
I don't mind silence when it's called for, but when you okay, there's a difference between throwing out something that's kind of that joke that only certain people are going to get, or that it deserves some silence, or that it's not all the way there yet. Can I sit in that silence? Yeah. But when you do something that it's just, honestly, I hate to say it, but there are jokes that we have as comics that we use to set up a room, and they're 1, 2, 3 jokes. 1, 2, 3, laugh, haha. We're moving on. Let's keep this. That's how you got the tires spinning.
Right.
And when you don't get it on those, that's not just about sitting in the silence. That's about, are you guys inept? Are you hurt? Do you guys not hear me?
What's wrong with y'all?
you? But that is, and I looked around the room and there was still service going on. They had sat the room and they had brought me on quicker than they normally do. Am I making now I'm in my head. Am I making excuses? Is this joke really not good? But I know it's good. It works everywhere. Why doesn't it work? that shouldn't happen. And that's what happens when you stay. Like I was saying, if he would have stayed in America, maybe, and he would have had the people getting into his head, into his ear. Hey, man, you should take this fight. Man, you never really. Because that's they come at you. You're gonna get to prove that you always everything that you needed to prove.
He was just done with the noise.
He proved it to himself. He didn't need to prove it outwardly. That is amazing. And like when I'm having those jokes and I know that they work, I've already proved it to myself. Why am I like getting into my feelings about it? Why did I go there? This is who we are, though. There is, and all people have that insecurity. All people are looking for that pat on the back, and you did good. That's what we were. That's because as kids, that's what we were looking for from our parents, from our dad. Man, you did good. You killed it. And I think a lot of us are still looking for it.
In this documentary, and I told you it's not just I know we're gonna
we're gonna
bring it up. Yeah, we're gonna bring it up.
Okay, but do you want to give out dates and stuff like that? And then
let me just make this one more
okay,
point. Because we talked about it ain't just sports; it's a bunch of things, and one of the things is politics. And obviously, the main president of that era was Reagan, but before him, I think was Carter.
Yeah,
and I know
Carter.
you mentioned that you were never a big fan of Carter. I want to ask you, A, why? And then, B, why was he a one-term president? Like, what made him? Was it because clearly he wasn't popular enough to be a two-term president, but what was it? What was the dislike for him so much?
Okay, well, you said I didn't like him. I want to clarify that. I think that he is one of the best people. Like, as a person, he as a person, I think he was one of the best humans we've ever had as a president. But that didn't translate to being a good president. So that also shows you that this job isn't about being a good person. It's not always about being a good person to run. This is a country's a big business, and if you're going to run a big business, sometimes you can't be the nicest person. And he was a good person. He cared about people, and I think he died caring about people. I didn't always agree with him, but I will never say that any of the decisions that he made, whether I agreed with him or not, he didn't base on goodness and kindness.
But what was it about him that made the public feel like he's not worth a second term?
Because he was ineffective. Everything that he went to do, the Panama Canal, was a problem.
The economy was really in the though, right?
It was a deep recession, one of the worst recessions we've ever had. But everything that he did didn't work. The Panama Canal, losing the Panama Canal was not great. We had the hostage situation, and he couldn't get the hostages out. He couldn't negotiate, and he didn't appear strong. And listen, I'm not saying that I don't know. Like, none of us were there. I'm very young at this time, so I don't have a great grasp on that time. What?
You were the closest ones to being there.
Yeah, I was the closest one to being there. But I don't think that he didn't define strength, and so I don't know what went on, but we had hostages held for a long time, over 50 hostages. You're not going to sit in there in your presidency, and then here comes Ronald Reagan. Now, Ronald Reagan, we'll have to talk more about him later. I'm not going to get into it completely right now because it's not the right moment here in this conversation. But Ronald Reagan, they put him in there because Ronald Reagan, he's the face of conservatism, and he's an actor, and he comes riding in on his horse, which he's known for, and he's going to change the way.
Dude, we got to find that clip in the movie where he slapped the shit out that woman and play that clip. Oh my God.
But he comes riding in and he's going to change America.
Right.
America's going to be solid and it's going to be strong. And, and Carter talked in a way about, when you talk from humanity, you talk in a way that is to be, I don't want to say lighter, but it is. It's to look at the sides. I talk in that way a lot. Look at both sides. Try to find the common ground. Look for the way that is the right road to go down.
So in other words, Carter was like Obama in terms of being a great person, but he was unlike Obama in the sense that he just wasn't a great president.
Well, he didn't articulate the way that Obama did. Obama could sell you some. Obama could have been a salesman.
Goddamn right.
Obama could have sold some If he wanted to be a salesman,
Right.
he would have sold the most. I don't care what it was that he would have done. If he was a real estate guy, he would have sold the most real estate.
Right.
If Obama would have told you why this area was the upcoming area and why you needed to buy it now, you would have reached deep in your pocket and bought it. Right. He said it in a way that made you feel like, wow, this is the right thing to do. Carter didn't have that. Honestly, he's a peanut farmer. And he's from nothing about anything from the South. People in the South are very smart. I'm not knocking it, but no, but the accent doesn't translate to the whole country as intelligence.
Right.
And I mean that.
Look at that right there. Look at that chicken right there. Look at that golden chicken right there.
It wasn't like that, but you know, when you're in a recession and the banking community in New York is listening to you speak in what they might not deem an eloquent manner, and you got an actor who's going to come up and give a soliloquy. I can't even say soliloquy.
The word you're looking for is soliloquy.
Yeah.
Ronald Reagan. Go ahead.
And he's going to do that and put you in like this place of strength. What are you going to do at this time? And America's the gas crunch is on. People are waiting in line for gas. This is like, okay, this is Jerry Brown, who was the governor of California. Mm-hmm. He came up with this great strategy, and this is how we were thinking in America at the time. I thought he was genius because what he said was two things. One, he was dating Linda Ronstadt. And I thought, that's pretty good as your governor is throwing it inside of a rock star. Mm-hmm. So that's pretty cool. And then he said, hey, we're going to go with your license plate. And if your number, I think it was license plate, if your number was even or odd, that's the day you could get gas. Because he was trying to cut down on the gas lines. Mm. So what I don't know if it was the first number on your license or however it was, but that's how you got gas. And so he cut the gas lines in half. And so America wasn't like, oh, how are we going to fix this? They were like, how are we going to live through it? Mm. That's what was Carter. How are we going to live through it?
Okay, before we go, you're the bank and I'm Carter. Ask me where the money is.
Hey, where'd you put the money?
If you look on your screen, it's right there. It's right there. It's right there. It's the South, nigga.
No, but that is so inappropriate. I really do mean that. Just because you have a Southern accent, there's a lot of great schools, a lot of intelligence, a lot of people come from the South that are very. But that accent doesn't lead to people believing.
You know what you're talking about.
It doesn't. It doesn't, and that's because the higher and I could say the same thing. We think of Boston. Because of the schools in Boston, New York, that area. But they have a up accent too. But people don't criticize it that way.
They got to have it.
But
they got to have it, kid.
But the South, they make it into this.
Well, it seems like the thicker it is, like no matter what the accent, or like if it's like a Boston or Southern, like then you live like in the country. They get like a really thick accent. But the people in Boston probably live in a shitty part of town.
When you got one of the most prestigious universities in the world. You know what I mean? Come on, man.
Yeah.
You can talk how you want to talk.
Well, they ain't all coming from Boston to go there.
No, but I'm just giving the examples that I think that the community, the banking industry, the big businesses that's up in upstate New York, Connecticut, banking, insurance, Boston, all those areas are intellectual properties, let's say. No one's calling, the South intellectual property.
All right, give up some dates.
All right, man.
So, folks, obviously this is a two-parter. This was part one, kid, with the marvelous Marvin Hagler. So part two will be what, the following Wednesday?
Yep.
Right. Okay, so part two is the following Wednesday. Plus, it'll give you a chance to watch this. I'm telling y'all, watch this. It's called The Kings. It's on Amazon Prime. Sugar Ray Leonard, marvelous Marvin Hagler, Thomas the Hitman Hearns, and Roberto Duran from Panama.
Okay, when you're listening to this, we are going to be in Rochester, New York, and we're going to be at the Comedy at the Carlson. We're going to be there July 24th to the 26th. Come check us out, man. It's our first time there. We're very excited about being there. And then we're headed down just a little bit further south. We're going to be July 31st through August 3rd. We're going to be at the Stress Factory in New Brunswick, New Jersey.
8 shows. We added 2. 6 have been sold out already. We added 2. So get the tickets, man.
So yeah, if you try to get tickets, they hadn't added shows yet, and you found out it was sold out. We added some shows. There's still some tickets available. So
my guys are coming too.
worship for Shield Bushy. Johnny Shack. My sister Janice and the kids met with AJ.
Are you really a real boss? Is New Jersey a real boss?
What are you kidding me? It's the only boss. It's not Uncle June. Remember, I'm the one that calls him shots.
August 7th through the August 9th, we're going to be at Mic Drop. We're going to switch sides of the country. We're going to go to San Diego. Then August 15th through the 17th, we're going to be at Bricktown Comedy Club in OKC. August 22nd to the 24th, Tacoma Comedy Club in Tacoma, Washington. August 28th to the 31st, we're going to be the Helium. Oh, no, we changed that. Actually, the date, August 28th to the 31st, we're going to end up going. Listen, we made this announcement. That date has changed. We're going to end up in Philly, guys. Philly. We're in Philly. So get your tickets. We switched that up. We're going to be in Philly on that date instead. In the Helium in Philly. Great club. Always excited to be in Philly, man. September 5th through the September 6th. I guess that's only a 2-dayer. We're going to be at Hartford Funny Bone in Central Manchester, Connecticut.
That's a 2-dayer?
That's a 2-dayer.
It's Friday and Saturday.
Yeah, it's Friday and Saturday. But we're going to go get some of that pizza.
That goddamn kitchen, nigga. Oh, God.
September 12th to the 13th, we're going to be at the Funny Bone in Kansas City, man, in the Missouri area. So come see us out there.
You'll feel kind of about that, right?
No, I like that one now.
Do you?
They cleaned it up. They got the sound system right. They put in some new chairs. They put a backdrop in. The people come and don't feel angry that they're in this. I don't know, like cavern. It's actually nice, and they really did it up. I gotta give a shout out to the Funny Bone because I did give them for a while, but they've really they've dumped some money into the clubs. They're looking really good, and that's Ari's favorite club out in the one in what's your favorite club?
What, in Kansas?
No, I don't want to get you into any more problems. Never mind.
Oh,
where Superman flies with Lois Lane. September 18th to the 20th, we're going to be at Hyena Comedy Club, Hyenas, in Albuquerque. That's in New Mexico, and that's our first time there as well. And then I'll throw this last date out, and then we got to do some more work here. September 25th to 28th, we're going to be at the Stress Factory in Bridgeport, Connecticut. So we're back for some more pizzas out there, man.
Yeah, we're not doing the Sunday show.
In Bridgeport?
Did I tell you that?
No.
Yeah, William said he's just going to have everybody come that way to the Friday, Saturday.
Oh, we're doing just 2 days out there and sell it out. Yeah. Well, Bridgeport's an interesting town, man.
I like that spot, man.
After the shows, I'm going to tell you, if you come out to see us in Bridgeport, here, do this. Come out, see us on Bridgeport. Come out Friday. I think Saturday it happens too. But you could see all the people on their all-terrain vehicles doing wheelies and going down the street and causing havoc, and the police just driving by, just making sure that no one got killed because they flipped off of their ATV vehicle. So come by, you can see that. That's the after the show party, because there's a couple little places in Aries, and I do go after the show, and you can sit outside, have a drink, and you can watch the ATVs do some tearing up the streets.
Yeah. Girl. Is that it?
That's it.
What are we calling this?
We're part one of
The Kings.
The Kings.
All right, yeah.
All right, man.
Spears and Steinberg.
Thanks for listening to the Spears and Steinberg podcast. For more information on where to find us on the internet, visit spearsburgpod.com.